What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Irrational Pod. This is, what date is it, guys? It's 4/26/2016, and I'm your host for today, Alex O'Neill, and I'm here with Roger Picorni. Today we're going to be talking about PAX East, and I'm interviewing Alex O'Neill. Hey.
Hi, Roger.
Hey.
Oh my God, what's happening?
Oh my God, I don't know what's happening, buddy. I think that was a great intro. I perfectly nailed it. Exactly what you say every week.
You killed it, dude.
Yeah, you told me to say that.
I'm sitting over here like humbled, honestly.
Who wouldn't be?
This was my idea, so
Yeah, you texted me.
if this goes south, I texted Roger at what, like 11 this morning?
I don't know. I got it at 2 p.m. when I woke up.
You woke up. I was laying in bed.
Yeah.
I was laying in bed last night, Roger.
Mm-hmm. Looking up at the sky.
Yeah, looking up at the sky, because there's no roof on my house. And my house exploded. We could go down that alley and be like,
Okay.
yeah, it blew the roof off
Yeah.
of this sucker.
Yeah.
Thinking like we should put out a podcast this week.
Mm-hmm.
We shouldn't miss a week. And I have an idea for a format that would be fun to do, where somebody interviews me about all the stuff that I did at PAX. I'm like, well, who's good at interviewing that I know, who like is reliable, handsome, dependable, and would totally be available this evening to do this. And
you started writing the DM to Greg Miller,
and then
you started deleting it.
And then I realized that Greg Miller is pretty busy. So
yes.
My speaker just turned on and freaked me out. I'm sorry, but Roger Picorni, my real number one choice, is here. Hi, Roger.
Hi.
Thanks for doing this.
Anytime. I have nothing else better to do. I woke up at 2 and I was like, I'm just going to sleep more. And then I saw that text message. I was like, oh, I should do something today. So yeah, I got up and I made coffee.
Yeah, I mean, like this is gonna be fun. So this is what I told Roger, so everyone knows. I want you to ask me what you want to know about from PAX, and we'll talk for like an hour, and I'm gonna wrap this shit up, post it, and get it going. Also, fuck you, Roger, for all the shit you throw to me.
Fair enough.
Bonus points.
Absolutely fair enough. You can talk mad shit about me on Irrational Passions. I'm totally fine with that.
I never say shit.
You can start. You can start. I don't care.
I'm always like, yeah, Roger, he's great. I was watching this Roger video. He's like, even though I disagree with him about Life is Strange, I still really value his opinion. But there, you're just sitting there, Alex, it is fucking dead to me.
I don't curse on bonus points. Don't even
true.
care. I
love that when you called me impromptu, I just started saying the F word, like just constantly. And I'm like, oh God, because like when I watch back, I'm like, oh God, they don't curse on bonus points. Oh God, I'm an animal. Why would they call me? They knew what would happen.
I only do that just because I know that my aunt subscribes to me and she watches my podcast and she doesn't know what's going on.
But when you turn 18 and you're a real man, all bets are off, right?
Exactly. Then I'll be like, I'm my own man, okay?
You're like, I'm my own man. Damn.
Fudge.
Fudge indeed. Well, it's your show now, Roger.
My show. I'm so happy. I've always wanted to be the leader of Irrational Pod. It's always what I wanted to do in my life.
I've got my notebook here, Roger. I took a lot of notes during the panels I watched.
Very excited.
After the games I played, sometimes during the games I played a whole bunch of stuff. Ask me anything.
Okay, so let's start from there, right? Mm-hmm. You are a media boy. You got this pass. Very exciting. I was excited to see that.
Yeah.
Now, since you're a media boy, do you just walk up to these places, or do you send emails beforehand? Like, hey, I want to set an appointment. Like, how does this work?
So, there's a couple different ways it can work.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get approved for media badges, and this is just like, I think good information for everyone out there.
Yeah.
If you don't know, so you have to have like a website email for whatever outlet that you're representing. And so they'll add that email to a press list to give out to all these like PR people and like all the presenters and all the indie devs that are there pretty much. So like I just got added to a list, and then like as soon as we were approved, which was like March 29th or something around there, like just the emails just poured through. It's like 30 to 70 emails every day. Like every weekday, just like, hey, come check out our game, make an appointment, and we'll come hang out. And that's a good thing and a bad thing, right? So like from this point on, I'm also on a lot of media lists that are useful to have.
Yeah.
And it's good to have contacts like emailing you when you like want to see something.
100%.
Most of it's like stuff that you're probably not going to want to see, but that's fine. It happens. That's going to happen. Yeah, options, and it's going to happen no matter what, right? Like your email is going to get out there. Alex at IrrationalPod.com. I always have my email like kind of out there if anyone wanted to get a hold of me. So, so you get added to a list. So they did something different here this year. Generally, the way it's worked is so press has to pick up their badges on site. You don't get it shipped ahead of time. So I had to go there, pick up the badge. Tony was with me. He didn't see as much as me, so that's why he's not here. And like I just have so much I have to get out. And yeah, so you go there. They have like a little station to pick up your press badges. They check your ID. They run it through their system. So if you're not listed, you're not going to get it. They also had something called a content creator badge. So it's also a gold badge. It said con on it instead of med. And so that's for YouTubers and Twitch streamers specifically. They have all the same access as media, but their badge is different.
That's actually really cool.
It's a novel idea, and I'm curious to see how it's. This is the first time it's ever been implemented.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how it's implemented in the future. Like if I do end up going to PAX Prime this year, I'd like to. I feel like that because it's on the West Coast, that's going to be way more accessible for a lot of those people. And I want to see like what that ratio is. I did notice significantly less media at PAX just across the board this year. I don't know why that is. I don't know if they were being more stringent or whatever. But like a lot less. The media room was never full.
Wow. Okay.
As opposed to past years where it's been packed and the Wi-Fi was still terrible, but that's another issue. And like they have lockers in the press room. You get access to the press room. It's just a room off to the side with lockers in it, so you can put your shit in there.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it has Wi-Fi in it, so you can write. But typically, like all the lockers are gone by like 11 a.m. Like the lockers were never all gone at any point this year, which is weird. So then press gets something called the press hour, which is Friday morning, only Friday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., an hour before the show floor opens. It's only media on the floor. So it's just typically, sometimes there's still lines, like stuff like Pyre, right? Supergiant was showing their media room. Like that was crowded, but you could always like make an appointment and come back later. You can make appointments on the floor on the fly. You can sometimes flash your badge and like just go to like a press station that they have set aside if no one's there. I don't really like to do that. Like I try not to do that because I think it's kind of rude to a lot of people that wait in line. I'm okay with like making an appointment and like I'm like not trying to cut anybody, right? I'm like I make an appointment. I'll come back whenever is good for the developer that's here, and I'll come see it. So it's a little bit of there's multiple ways that you can kind of do that. Typically, like Square Enix, right? Square Enix booth, like they're not gonna let you cut the line unless you're like IGN or GameSpot or something. Indie guys, they see you, they're excited because they want
coverage.
They want coverage and they're excited that people are interested in their games. So that's cool. That like I saw a lot of indie devs that like there was like this one group, Mages of Mistralia, the game that I played. It's being done by Dan Edelman, who helped. He's publishing Axiom Verge and Chasm. So that's like his third game now, and like the three guys that were there, or it might have been four, were like from Europe. I don't know what country they were from. I didn't ask. It was the first time they'd ever been in America. It was backstage, and it was the first time they'd ever shown their game to anyone ever.
Wow.
So they were watching people playing their game, and it was really fun. Like I played it, I liked it. We can talk about that later, but it was just like watching their expression when they were watching people like figure out their game was amazing.
Were they terrified?
They were terrified, but they were so excited.
Okay.
And there was a lot of that. And I have some of that in some of the stuff that I played.
Okay, so let's go backwards in time now.
Okay.
You're going to a plane.
Yeah.
To take you to Boston.
Yeah.
So
how do you feel about planes?
I like planes a lot. Happy, make me excited. Mm-hmm. You played Spelunky on that plane.
Yeah, I did.
I thought. How are you so good at Spelunky?
I don't know. I played like 2,000 hours of Spelunky.
Whoa. Okay, never mind then. Okay, that's why.
Yeah, you know like how some people play Dota 2 and they commit their entire lives to it. I did that with Spelunky. I'm like approaching near 2,000 plays in Spelunky on PlayStation Vita /PS4 alone. So
Whoa.
that's not including the 500 or so I did on PC
Mhm.
and the 1,000 or so I did on Xbox 360.
Jesus Christ.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
So that makes sense.
I like it's weird because like I have ups and downs with Spelunky. Like earlier this year I wasn't playing as much because there was a lot to play, but I beat it before I left, like a couple nights before I left, when my roommate was just hanging out watching me play, and then I beat it on the plane there, and I beat it on the plane back, and I beat it like the real way, like going through the 5th secret world and all that, and like doing all the secret stuff, which like I've only ever done that like total. You think about like the thousands of hours I've put in that game. I've only ever done that like 25 times.
Okay, buddy. I got to the second level thing, and then I died, and then I was like, this game is hard, man.
Roger, when we hang out, we're gonna play Spelunky together. I'll show you how. I'll show you how to do.
Yes, please teach me everything about Spelunky. So that's. I just wanted to ask you about that because that's interesting to me. Send me a Snapchat or it was on your story. I don't know.
It was
one of the same. One of the same.
Yeah.
And then you get there. You get to Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when did you get there? Was that early? I forget. Was that?
I think we got in at like 8 a.m.
The day before, or the day of?
Thursday. So the day before.
Okay.
Because like I like to get in on Thursday because that's a good time to maybe see some people. Meet up. Find out who's there. Get antiquated. Yeah, get acquainted with the city, and get dinner and we have to get our badges on site, right? So like, I would rather get my badge Thursday before than have to like worry about it Friday morning. Like, when we're also have to worry about getting lockers in the press room and going to the press hour and like not being late. So
yeah, okay. So you go there and you meet up with people. You have fun or whatever. Like, what did you do that day before? Other than getting your badges and stuff.
We walked around the city a lot. Tony and I did because we were the ones that were there. Because basically everyone else was coming in around 4 p.m. and Sean and them weren't getting in until like way late in the evening. Yeah. There was an IGN party Thursday night, which I'll get to in a second. But yeah, we Tony and I, after walking around like a ton, we went to the hotel. We couldn't check in because Zyger, who was a kind of funny admin, he's a kind of funny community member, one of the people in our room. We had 11 people in our room. That's a whole story in or a series of them, I should say. Mm-hmm. He checked us. He had to check in, and he wasn't landing until 4. So we sat at the hotel bar, and I was like, I hadn't slept the night before, as you know, since you follow my Snapchat.
As you usually do,
because we had to like leave. I had to leave my house like 4:30 in the morning, and it was like 3 a.m. And I was like, guess what? Sleep's for the week. I guess we're going for it. And I just sat here in my game room and played Spelunky. So that happened.
Yeah. And
so I was not drinking any alcohol because I knew it would just put me out. But this guy showed up. This guy showed up, and he's some like reviewer of liquor and wine in the Massachusetts area, and he's telling us all these friggin' crazy stories, and he's loaded, right? So he's just buying us drinks. So I mean, he was buying Tony alcoholic drinks. I had an espresso and a couple of Cokes.
Okay.
And then we were joking around with the bartender, and so eventually people trickled in. Then when we got in the room, changed and everything, got more comfortable, I took a nap. Like an hour-long nap while everyone else went to dinner. Then we went and met them at the line to the IGN party. Go in this club, man. This IGN party in this basement club thing. And like Damon Hatfield is DJing. And then after him, Alana Pierce is DJing. Way too loud. Like, I don't want to sound like an old man here. But
you
like,
do.
But I do. I've been to a rave before, right? I went to DC, went to this basement rave, saw my favorite DJ. It was fantastic, super crazy loud. This was like way louder than that. Like my whole head hurt. Like the ears all the way out to like my like actual physical hanging ears. And, like it was just too loud. But and they kept like cranking it up and making it louder. I was like, so I mean, I had a few drinks there, and Just
trying to
tweet
get
out.
contacts and you're screaming.
Yeah.
What is your email?
I mean, I went up to Max Scoville, and it was like very clearly. I was talking to him, and it was like, very clear. It was like, let's just not talk here. We'll talk. I want to talk to you, but like, let's just not do it
Yeah.
here. And yeah, it was cool. Like Damon Hatfield remembered me. That was a cool thing. I
That's
hadn't
right.
seen him in over 2 years.
Oh, wow.
So it was crazy that he just recognized me. And people are tweeting out ridiculous stuff as they watch this live. I'm trying not to curse because you're here, Roger, and I want to.
You can curse. I don't care. Listen, I don't curse just because my mom is home, and I don't want her to be like, "Whoa." Yeah.
Oh, is that what she's gonna be like?
Yeah, she'd be like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa." You know what I mean? You never met my mom, but like,
I know what you mean, Roger.
Yeah. You know.
She sounds like a very nice lady.
Very nice lady.
But yeah, then my friend Rob James, who I hadn't seen in a couple of years either, he was there, and we went out to dinner. Tony, him, and I went out to dinner with a couple other Twitch people. And yeah, like at the end, like the dinner was like this low key thing, and it was very relaxed. Then you get back to the hotel room, 10 people loaded in there. 10 people on the first night, 11 people on night 2 and 3, and then just 4 people on night 4.
Oof.
Oh, that was wonderful.
That was a nice one.
So, like, think of it. You get 2 twin-sized beds. You get 2 people on each bed. A person sleeping between the beds. A person sleeping on the other side of the one of the beds. 2 people sleep at the foot of one bed. 1 person sleep at the foot of the other bed. And then 2 people sleeping in front of the door.
That's awesome.
And it was a riot. Like, everyone in that room was awesome. And we were all just laughing hysterically. Like, Friday night, when like half of us were drunk, we like I was slept on the floor that night, and like, it's like all the Nerds guys and Zyger and Kaylee, who are like kind of funny people, and Trevor and Tony. Trevor Starkey's been on the show. Sean Pitts has been on the show. It was just like cool people, and like when I was laying on the floor. And so it's pitch black, and we're all about to go to sleep. It's almost 2 a.m. on Friday night. I'm like, "Good night, Sean." And he's just, "Good night, Alex." And I'm like, "Good night, Trevor." And then it goes back and forth over and over again. And then we're all like just yelling over each other, saying goodnight to everyone. And then it gets really quiet. And I'm like, "This is Jackie T, guys. I just wanted to say goodnight." And then it's just Jackie T impressions for like 30 minutes. And then I'm laughing so hard I have to get up and use my inhaler. And if you search on Twitter, it doesn't take much to find it. There's this great picture of me just posing on the bed.
I have seen
After I use my inhaler, and I was like everyone around me just doing Jackie T impressions. So it was a ton of fun.
Yeah.
If I had to squeeze 11 people in a hotel room, at least I had the most fun with it.
Yeah, that's good. I like that a lot.
But yeah, like that was Thursday night. The IGN party, too loud. Had some food, good food.
What food?
I got like a chicken sandwich, like a grilled chicken sandwich with guacamole. It was delicious.
Sounds very good.
Silvertone Bar in Boston. It's a good place.
Okay, fair enough. So Thursday done. Then you have the media.
Yeah.
What was your media? Yeah, what was your press hour?
Behemoth was having like a press breakfast, and I RSVP'd to that because I'm like, at the very least, I can get coffee while I'm on the phone. I'm like, I know we're gonna be in a rush, right? Because I don't want to be late for the hour, and we have to get there like by 8:30. Meaning we have to leave at like 8. Meaning we have to get up at like 7 because 70 people have to shower in our goddamn room. Luckily, we did it so like 5 people showered the night before.
Smart.
And 5 people showered the morning of. But Sean Pitts only takes baths, so.
Is that a true fact?
That's a true fact.
Really? I didn't even notice that.
That's 100% fact.
Huh. Okay.
So like we got a lot of time for stuff like that. Like I sleep with a fan blowing in my face. All right. We got weird people in the room. I'm not like I'm not putting Sean on blast or anything.
No.
We were accommodating all the things.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like during the press hour, I did a different thing this time. Typically, I'll go to the thing that I want to see the most, right? In this case, it would have been Pyre.
Yeah.
Right, because Pyre, Supergiant, I knew it was going to be crowded the whole time. Or like AAA stuff, right? Because if I want to see like Outlast 2, if I want to see something big, no, like I'll go when It's just the least amount of people, maybe like 200 people on the floor.
Mhm.
I ended up seeing Outlast 2 regardless, so it worked out. But I instead went around to the indie booth, like when it wasn't crowded, and I just wrote down a bunch of stuff. I'm like, this looks cool, this looks cool, this looks cool. Just wrote it down, and I'm like, I'm gonna come back to these.
All right, cool.
And I spent most of my time in the indie booth this time, which typically I do, but way more time. Like I pretty much ignored half the show floor where all like the Xbox and the PlayStation stuff is. I wish I had gone to the PlayStation booth and played more PSVR, especially when I could guarantee that they were clean. But I just didn't end up playing it. It's like whatever. I don't care that much. Like I've played it before. It's not the end of the world. But that was most of my press hour. Tony and I played Necropolis. You ever heard of this game?
No.
I wrote a preview up on IrrationalPassions.com. Cool game. It's like Dark Souls. There's a whole lot of games that are like Dark Souls. If you like Dark Souls, I've got good news for you. Necropolis was more so like Dark Souls. Do you want me to talk about it?
Yes, talk about it. Yeah.
It was like behind the back, the full third-person action game. Stuff matched to the triggers. There was a jump button though, which is very peculiar. But Necropolis is a full-on roguelike instead of like a kind of roguelike. So it's all, if you die, you have to start over. You get like credits. Let me pull up my notes. You get like credits that you can, tokens is what they were called, that you can use like kind of currency that'll carry between deaths. That I guess you can get permanent unlocks with. And so it's like a necropolis is a pyramid, right? So you start at the top and you go down, down, down all the way to the bottom in order to get out. 30 floors, and they get wider and wider and wider as you get up the pyramid. And I was like, so it's like a one-run kind of game. You beat it in one run, like Spelunky or something. But I'm like, this game must be massive. So I was talking to Kayla, who's the person showing me the game. I'm like, how long would like a run take if you knew what you were doing? She's like 6 hours. I'm like, whoa.
Wow.
She's like, typically it takes people about 50 hours before they can beat it. And I'm like, damn.
Huh.
It's got style though. It's
very
stylish looking.
I'm looking at it right now. Very cool looking game.
Yeah. It felt like a bit clunky, right? Like it felt heavy in the way the Dark Souls feels heavy, but like maybe not as responsive as I would have wanted it to be. But like toward the end of my demo, I switched to a different weapon because like since it's not like Dark Souls, right? There's no permanence of anything. You just pick up a weapon like when enemies drop it.
Yeah.
Like a shield or whatever. I pick up like a dagger and it was a lot faster and it felt a little bit better. But the kind of give and take, like the moment-to-moment stuff is like Dark Souls. It's managing your stamina meter, dodging, holding your shield up, stuff like that.
Is there bosses? Is that how that works, or?
So it's all procedurally generated. So enemies you fight will also be procedurally generated. So I imagine there are boss characters, kind of like any roguelike, like Isaac or something, that like you hit certain boss points. But like you can run into like super, super powerful enemies on like the first floor, and you have to kind of manage whether you're going to risk doing that and getting really good equipment early on or like getting totally wrecked. So I thought that was also pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if it will respond to how you're playing it all, but I dig the concept at the very least. There also will be multiplayer, which
that's cool.
In the vein of like a Souls game. So
okay. Consoles, is this PC
PS4
or
and PC?
Okay, cool.
And 360, I believe this one is.
Strange.
That's this summer. Yeah.
Okay, that actually looks really cool.
Yeah. It's also like if you quit the game, like you can quit mid-run and come back to that run, but the world is persistent, so it'll keep going if you quit. So if there are enemies around and you quit, like they'll kill you, and then you'll come back to your.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So you have to clear a floor before you would take a break. So like one run 6 hours, you could space that out presumably, but you're taking a risk when you do, which is interesting.
I'm just looking at this one GIF, which is really cool.
Is it the one I put in the
yeah.
Preview? Yeah.
It's making me very excited.
Yeah, it was just like a stylish looking game.
Yeah.
It was like very simplistic, and I dig that kind of like minimalist style.
Yeah, I like it a lot. All right, cool. So after
that, I played, and I wrote a preview of this. I did publish it. Death's Gambit, another Dark Souls like. This is being published by Adult Swim Games. I think this one is PS4 and PC. It's like 2D Souls.
It looks like it.
It's cool. There's another preview for that up on IrrationalPod.com. I got a grappling. I think, yeah, there was a grappling hook that you had in that one. There are a lot of games I play with grappling hooks, so there are 3 I can think of off the top of my head right now, including this one. I guess like kind of more like Salt and Sanctuary. That's what Tony was watching me play as well. And it's just like the pixel art in Death's Game. Amazing. Looked like some of the. I saw like a lot of great pixel art, and I'm a sucker for good pixel art. But it was fantastic looking. It seemed more Metroidvania. The guy talked about like maybe I would get an ability to reach this ledge that I saw early on. That I would have to come back to. Very heavy, very, very slow and weighty. A lot of damage, a lot of animation priority. So kind of like more Dark Souls than I guess Necropolis would be in that regard. Something like Monster Hunter where like animation takes priority and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But it was cool. Again, wrote something about that one, and since I just talked about Necropolis, it's weird to talk about those games back to back.
Does it feel better than Necropolis?
Yeah, it felt like more smooth, I guess you could say. Like the weight felt justified.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to say. It was a pretty short demo. Just looked really great, and I wanted to play around. There were multiple weapons. I wanted to play around with them more. You get hope when you kill enemies. Hope is your souls.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Cool mechanic was like when you died, you left a feather, right, on your death mark, so you could recover your feather to recover your hope. But when you recovered your feather is also a healing item. So like if I died, went back, and I respawned with 1 feather for healing item, went back, picked up that feather, now I have 2 feathers. I was like, so can I milk this and die like really, really close to the respawn point over and over again until I have 10 feathers? And he's like, that's something we're adjusting, and that is kind of more specific to just this demo.
Gotcha.
So I didn't know what to make of that, but we'll see.
Yeah, maybe they just wanted to make it a little easier.
Maybe, yeah, and that way so people could progress.
Yeah, exactly. Interesting. The game looks cool. Again, a lot of fancy looking games here. Good looking games here.
Good looking fanciness.
Good looking fanciness.
It was a fancy feast.
Was that the name of the breakfast? Fancy Feast 2016?
I just had a dry ass bagel.
What type of bagel?
It was just a plain bagel.
No good.
I know, but they didn't have a toaster there. So I just put cream cheese on this dry ass bagel. And I only took the top of the bagel. So I was like just an animal. The coffee was just terrible, but like it was free. It wasn't terrible.
That's all that matters, right? If it's free, it doesn't matter.
It's very kind of behemoth to put on a breakfast for press. I
100%.
very much appreciate it.
Yeah. Now they're going to blackball you out of the industry after you said that.
Absolutely.
You're done now. Yeah. So that was 2 games. Was that your entire press hour? There has to be more.
Yeah, that was pretty much the press hour. That's all I played during the press hour because I did a lot of walking around, just kind of looking at stuff. I liked how the floor was set up like it was way more indie this year than any year I've ever been. Now I missed last year at PAX East, which I'm still upset about. But
you think you're upset? I've missed every single PAX East.
Yeah, but like next year, you're gonna be 18.
Yeah,
Captain. You and me, we're gonna hotel it up. Yeah, we should do that. We should do that. We're gonna have conversations about this. Not 11 people though. Refuse.
13 people.
No, we had a reputation. The Kind of Funny Room is what we were called. People knew about this 11-person room. Greg Miller was like, "Oh, you're in the 11-man room." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, it stinks. It stinks in there. It smells like dank balls."
Dank balls.
So I'm trying to think. Yeah, it was way more indie stuff. There was this like PAX Imported or whatever, which is all indie games from Australia, Australian developers. It was like one little thing. PAX Rising, which was just a massive ton of indie games, and then the indie mega booth, and then the indie mini booth. Just so much indie stuff. Yeah. All of it was really cool.
That's really cool.
Not all of it. Not all of them can be hits, but. It was way more than any year I'd seen before. I saw some like returning hits, like Below, which was like during the press hour in 2014. Below, that was the game. Went right for it. Sat down, played it. I'm like, I'm playing this right now. Good thing I did because no way I could have played it any other time except for then. I'm really glad I did that as well. I saw Cuphead. I want to talk to you about this.
Yes.
I saw it on Sunday. I wanted to make an appointment to see it, but it was too late. They were like, no, it's Sunday. What are you talking about? We're not giving you any appointments.
They did it in that voice too. They yelled at you.
Yeah,
they're rude at you.
That nice lady who tweeted us on Twitter saying like, "Hey, come find me." She just yelled at me. She told me I was an animal. No, I went over there and I looked at like the demo they were showing. Didn't look that interesting. It was just like that specific stage. It was like it was like a flying enemy. It was co-op. You're in planes. Beautiful. Like actually seeing that game move in person, crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. It totally looked like you were watching like a cartoon that was not like that was scripted, not like happening in the moment, and that's nuts.
Yeah, that game I was reading a Game Informer when it was coming out and announced and stuff, and like the thing that blew my mind, I was like, okay, I'm sold on this. It's like they were like they like showed like all the particle effects and like how they tried to make it look like it was someone like scribbling on it and like making it hand by hand, and like how they like were like, oh yeah, this little thing, if we were to do this, it would like repeat. So like we had to make it like procedural and stuff. It was like it like blew my mind, and like that game is so beautiful. I really hope that it plays really well too. I'm excited for it. Get Xbox One for it.
Yeah, it's dope. Like you know, they've kind of put it out there that game is maybe just a series of boss runs, and like don't know if I'm gonna like playing that game. Just from what I saw, it doesn't look like it's necessarily a game for me, but it is just excellent looking.
Yeah.
And then that counts for something for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to figure out when I played these ones. So I also have like notes from panels that I saw.
Yeah, so let's go into panels because I want to ask you about that because you watched a ton of panels and stuff. So which ones did you see? Which one?
I think I saw like maybe
or
like
a few panels.
4 main ones. Yeah. So I saw like the I'll pull up this. Oh, I don't have the schedule on my phone anymore. But like the first one I saw was like Friday evening, and I missed the Giant Bomb panel to see this one. So it was like, now you're a games journalist. So what the hell happens next? Really cool. It had Susan Arndt in it. I don't know if I'm saying her name right. Probably not. It had Alexa Ray Correa, Holly from Paste, Samit from Polygon, and then one other person. But it was like, you know, look at my notes I've got like right here. I just wrote like an entire goddamn page of crazy scribblings. But yeah, it was cool. It's just, you know, like they were talking about like how, you know, once you're in the industry, you're like, oh yeah, this is kind of terrible and a travesty. But you know, it was very, very much real and drowned in cynicism, but like kind of like a nice reminder of like, hey, like, you know, this isn't easy. It's going to continue to be difficult, and if you can't keep up with that, then maybe you shouldn't be in this industry.
Yeah.
Which, you know, is very true.
Yeah.
You're a games journalist. Now what? What was funny was the picture, and then I think you saw this on my Snap. They used a picture of Clark Kent, and I took a picture of that and sent it to Greg Miller and said, no wonder Clark Kent, his fucking post in Batman vs. Superman was empty. It's because he's a games journalist. But yeah, it was good. Let me get some notes. You know, they talk about like, hey, you know, get better at copy editing, and talk about freelance copy editing, and like kind of like the stuff that they enjoyed more. Like Alexa really liked doing long form pieces, and Samit really likes writing stories and doing copy editing. And like they talked a little bit about reviews, how layoffs suck. Like when you're in this industry, layoffs are going to happen a lot, and there's not really ever going to be an explanation for them, and it's going to be really hard.
Yeah.
Susan talked about how she, you know, basically got told like after the best month or the best quarter that Games Radar ever had, she was told that she had to let go of 3 people. And it's like she basically had to look at her list of people and decide who she had to let go of a bunch of great people that put out the best quarter that site had ever put out. So stuff like that happens, and it sucks. And talked about editorial missteps, like possibly publishing something by accident before embargo, and just like, you know, owning it, acknowledging it, moving on, don't letting it destroy you.
Gotcha.
Um,
I always think those things are so interesting, especially like I was watching the Daniel Dwyer thing about like getting into the industry, and he brought like a sense of realism to it. Like he's like, not everyone's gonna make it, like, and he was like being really realistic about like everything.
On
I
top
just
of that,
think it's
like
so interesting.
you are probably not going to make it. Like
Yeah,
you, the collective you, not necessarily you specifically, Roger. It's just like most people aren't going to make it.
100%.
You know, out of the two of us, there's like 1,000% chance, or like a 1 in 1,000, or 1 in a million that either of us will make it. Right?
100%.
It's tough. That's why you got to work hard, play hard. Also, I
Play
played
hard.
hard. I played hard on Saturday night, but we'll get there. Let me see.
In terms of what?
Oh, you'll see.
Oh boy.
So there are a couple. I played Chasm. Also, just like some other things that I played. Have you heard of what's it? Always Sometimes Monsters.
No.
So it was like a
I'll
indie
Google
game
it.
that came out last year. John Anderson, who's on our Game of the Year stuff, really liked it. Basically, the guys that made that are making a game called Sometimes Always Monsters, which is like the inverse of that game. And it seemed really interesting. I'm gonna write something about it. That's probably gonna be more opinion focused, but it was basically like always sometimes monsters put you like in a really shitty place, and you had to work yourself back up and try and win back this girl that left you. And sometimes always monsters puts you in a really privileged place, and then things start going downhill, and they get worse and worse and worse.
Gotcha.
And you're kind of like spiraling. Can I talk? Can I?
Nah, you can't. Sorry, buddy.
Let's talk about my game of show.
Well, I just want to say I'm looking at Sometimes Always Monsters, and I see a lot of virtual sex scenes, and it's interesting.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay, let's not talk about my game of show yet. We'll save that for last.
Okay.
I played Pyre. I wrote a very long preview about that on IrrationalPassions.com. Have you heard of this site?
No. What is that?
What is that? What's it a passion? It's irrational. Yeah, I like that preview is really long. It's like almost 1,000 words.
Jesus Christ.
But like that game was like a 30-minute demo. So there was a lot to write about.
Yeah.
There's like 6 different games in that one game. It's awesome. Did you read it?
No. Sorry. Got to be honest here.
Okay. No, I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah.
So this is Super Giant's game. Have you liked Super Giant before?
I played a little bit of Transistor and then I stopped.
Okay, that's
not because I didn't like it. Just
yeah, I played a little bit of Transistor and I stopped as well.
Okay,
love Bastion.
Yeah,
love
I played a little bit of that too.
Pyre's like Rocket League meets Oregon Trail.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So it's like 2 games, right? So there's like there are rights in the game. Those are kind of like this 3-on-3 sport, right? It's 1v1, but you're controlling 3 characters, and you can only move one of them at any given time. You have to get a ball and shoot it into the opponent's pyre, which you can walk into the pyre, or you can actually like dunk, like shoot into the pyre. And like so you've got like a lightweight, a medium weight, and a heavy, and they all have like different strengths. So you can like banish players, so it's like dodgeball, where you can like banish players out of the game, and they have to wait before they can come back in. And if somebody scores, that character is out until the next person scores. So if you just scored, you only have 2 characters, and their team only has 3. So that's interesting. It's fascinating. It is like the moments of where I was like so close to being banished, and then like throwing the spark or whatever it is into the pyre, and like just like those intense kind of Rocket League like score goal moments. Amazing. Outside of that, like you're like micromanaging your time and deciding like how you're going to gather resources and making sure you have enough fuel and whatever to reach the next rite so that you can perform the rite and get closer to getting back into like society because you've been banished or whatever. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Again, a very extensive preview on that one.
I didn't get any of that from the trailer when I was watching that. That's very interesting.
I was watching that game. I'm like, what the fuck is this game?
Yeah.
I have no idea. Playing it, very different.
Wow. Okay.
That's actually really cool. In my preview that it's very hard to explain what that game is.
Yeah, but then you go on to explain it.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I do my best. There's a lot of nuance to kind of like that sport aspect of it, which is narrated by the same narrator as Bastion. Sounds nothing like he did in Bastion, though. It's really cool.
Huh.
I played Hob, which is the next game from Runic Games.
Oh, okay. I've heard of this.
They made Torchlight and Torchlight 2.
Yeah.
Really cool. It's like Prince of Persia meets Zelda with a
Oh,
little bit of Dark Souls. Like I said, a lot of dark.
yeah, a lot of Dark Souls.
Mostly the weight of it felt like Dark Souls. But yeah, it was beautiful. Like there's a lot of 3D platforming that felt like Prince of Persia, like jumping and sliding down stuff and climbing up stuff. But like from a top-down perspective, so that was really cool. You had a sword, you slash stuff, you had stamina meter, a little Dark Souls in there. At some point, I got an upgrade that gave like this giant rock arm that I had, like a grappling hook. There's another grappling hook.
Oh, two so far.
Two so far. We'll get to the third one.
Doing a podcast, Mom.
Thanks, Mom.
Love you, Ma. Oh, yeah, she didn't say anything. Whatever.
Okay. Love you, Ma.
Love you, Ma.
About it. And it's like mysterious, right? Like it's in all it. Wonder who is the PR or the community manager, PR person giving me the demo. She was like saying like, you know, you have to discover everything on your own, right? This game is going to give you a lot of breadcrumbs, but you got to look for them, and there's a lot of environmental storytelling from that. I don't know. It was really cool, and very pretty. I've written a preview of that. That'll publish sometime this week.
Good. I'm excited.
Looks
good.
You can ask me about stuff. I have another panel, but you can ask me about stuff.
So, I was talking about the panels, and then you went back into
games. There were just things that
you
on
wanted
that day that I wanted to cover because I haven't published everything yet.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
All right. Panels. Second panel.
How video works.
This is the one I want to hear about.
Okay.
Okay.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
All-star cast on this panel. Very weird to find out that half the people on the panel knew who I was. Let me see if I can pull up because I have the schedule here. But it was Greg Miller, Max Scoville, Anthony Carboni, Andrea Renee,
Bruce Green,
Funhouse of the Funhouse, and the executive producer at GameSpot. I can never see her.
Oh yeah.
Just use my command search. It's always weird when you do like search in Google Chrome and like it pops up Duck Nukem as your search.
Wait, what?
It's a comedy button.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
How video. There we go. How video works. I don't know why it was called How Video Works. Niha Tawari. She put it together also. But yeah, all-star cast. I was in the front row. You saw that picture I put out. Great picture of that. And yeah, it was really great. Like they talked about like just. I'm trying to go through here. No one will pay for video stuff when you start. Like like you do get yourself out there, network, meet people. Like Max talked about this time that he went to do like a video shoot and met Greg Miller there, and like that was the first time they ever met. And he met Brian Altano there, and like from the rest is from there. Like, and they talked about like bringing an Elgato like with you, like a Game Capture HD, and just taking that with you to like a video event, and just like you can just bring that with you and plug that in and just record stuff like from an event. Usually people can accommodate something like that.
Yeah.
Which is super cool, and like just be ready, be on that. They talked about like streaming versus video on demand, different energy, right? More dynamic, more tense, because like there's more pressure, right? You can't edit something out there. Like for example, if Max Scoville said something about fucking and Lego Avengers, no one could go back and edit that out, even if they don't necessarily mesh. They talked about like the YouTube playbook, right? The creator playbook and discoverability and knowing how growth works and knowing how format works and looking at like one of the big things I took away was like, hey, look at something that is not about, let's say, video games, the thing that you want to cover, right? The thing that I want to cover, video games. Look at like a Netflix documentary. See how they shoot that, like about like crime, let's say, crime, general crime. See how they shoot that, put that together, edit it. Like look at that format and then take it and bring it into video games. Because that's what no one's doing, right? Like, I've talked a lot about Alex Talks and how I'm working on bringing that back. And the idea I have for the format for Alex Talks, the new Alex Talks that's still happening, Roger, I swear.
Yeah. Okay.
It's inspired by something that has nothing to do with video games, tertiarily related to video games.
Will you tell me after the show, or are you keeping it a secret?
I can tell you after the show.
Yes.
You'll think it's awesome.
I'm gonna be so excited.
There's
I know
no
this.
way I'll be able to do it well, but
okay.
I'm gonna try.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's like a really cool format. Also, they talked about Snapchat. Yeah, Snapchat's huge now, right?
Yeah.
Anthony Carboni just screamed out, "Snapchat is vertical," and then I started writing that down, and he's like, "I don't see you guys writing that down." And they pointed at me and said, "That guy's writing it down." And then Greg Miller, who was next to him, it's also really great to see the two of them next to each other because, like, off mic, they just kept whispering silly shit to it. Greg Miller points like Alex O'Neill of IrrationalPassions.com, Irrational Passions Podcast, and he just like leaned into that thing.
The Greg Miller thing.
The Greg Miller thing that he does. Very sweet. He's a sweet guy.
Yeah, I love that man.
I do too. Take breaks. They also talked about don't overwork yourself, especially with video because it can be super exhausting. Like Anthony talked about how he doesn't stream video games because video games are like his me time thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even though he thinks he would be probably successful on stream, is like he has to keep video games as a thing that he does off, right?
Yeah.
And negativity begets negativity. If you like don't do like those kind of like enraging, like I'm trying to piss people off videos because that is how you foster a negative community.
Mm-hmm.
That was like a big thing that Max really wanted to drive home that I thought was very important. They also mentioned a couple like cool things. The Fantastic Contraption streams. I have not heard of them, but they do cool VR streams. The same with Will Smith has a VR show that's really cool.
I've heard of that.
But yeah, that was most of it. I mean, I have some other notes that like not necessarily helpful, but it was really cool. A lot of them knew each other all the way back from like Tech TV, pre G4. So it was cool to see them talking and stuff. All-star cast.
Yeah, that panel looked like absolutely insane. Like it just like it looked like it had like every single like side of the story, right? You had Greg Miller who was from IGN, and then he goes to Kind of Funny, he's doing his own thing, and then Bruce Green. It just looked very interesting.
A lot of jokes about what it took to become an Up at Noon host at that panel.
Really? That's good.
As both of them were there.
That's funny.
And that Greg has to quit his job so that Max can then take his job again at Kind of Funny. And then Anthony can become the host of Up at Noon. So
that's funny.
It was really funny too. So yeah, I didn't get to ask the question, but I got to ask it to them. I got a couple of them later. So
privately. So when was that? What day was that?
That was Saturday.
Okay, so let's just go down the panels list real quick. Mm-hmm. Third one. What'd you say?
Paxomania.
Oh yes, that's fun.
Catastrophe. Loved it. I mean, go watch that. There's no words I could use this.
Yeah,
it's the first one I'd ever seen, in person or otherwise. I've not watched the streams before. I don't give a shit about wrestling, so I figured I wouldn't care about video games wrestling. Still don't really care about video games wrestling, but there are some moments, man. There's some moments.
Some gifs.
Yeah, Greg Miller was on his game that day. No way his voice wasn't shot afterwards, though. Holy shit. He yelled turn on the fog machine more times than I can literally count.
That's great. And then the fourth one?
I think that was it.
You saw Kind of Funny.
I did. That's right. Yeah. I did. That was Friday.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Okay.
That was streamed as well. I mean, it was super chill. Didn't have a question to ask, so I didn't ask a question. Barrett Courtney wanted me to go up there and or at least yell, "I love Barrett." Didn't happen. Sorry, Barrett.
Sorry,
I
Barrett.
don't want to embarrass myself like that. When like Greg was at the door, like greeting everyone as they walked in, as he's ought to do. And I walked in with my Game Over Greggy shirt on, and Tony walked in with his Dan Reichert shirt on. Greg just said "fuck you" to Tony, and then he told me to get better friends. So.
Fair enough.
What else you got for me?
Okay, so
IGN party Saturday night.
Really? I didn't know about that. How was that?
Another IGN party. Fantastic. I had a lot of very good conversations with.
How loud was the music there?
Less, more reasonable. Still way too loud. It was.
You're an old man.
So, all right. It's because I was trying to talk to people.
Yeah, I know.
So it was in this club, right? It was the club above Candy Bar, which was the underground club that the first IGN party was in.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it was 2 stories above, 2-story club, and there's some stories I probably shouldn't say on.
Yeah. Don't get yourself in trouble.
I won't. It was nothing like involving industry people, just like people, like like people. But like they go in, pat me down. There's a line for men, a line for women. And the guy at the front door, he has to go like ask like 6 other people about my ID because I guess he thinks it's fucking fake. And I'm like, if I'm about to not get in here because this guy thinks my ID is fake, and I'm like literally the most tame person that's about to walk into this club, I'm gonna be furious.
Yeah.
But we get in, so there's like a club floor and there's like a dance floor and like a bottle service. With a winky face, I don't know, and then the DJ on the stage or whatever, and then it's like a second floor with 3 bars on like this kind of like archway. It's very cool.
Yeah,
and like that's what, the IGN party was on the second floor, so we were all cut off from the rest of people, and it's cool because all these like normal plebs wanted to get up to the second floor because it was like VIP area, and they had no idea there was like a big nerd game for nerds party upstairs, but because it was exclusive, they wanted to be there.
Yeah,
I thought that was funny.
That's funny.
Yeah, I talked to a lot of people there, and made a lot of connections. So that was good. That was
gave out your nice new business card.
I mean, it's not new.
Well, yeah, it is. You got a new business card soon. Recently.
Well, I mean, they're the same as the ones I had. Before, but like I just hadn't had any in a long time. Gotcha. I missed PAX last year. Gotcha. But yeah. I did give out those sharp cards.
They're nice. No, they're rounded edges.
Yeah, they are rounded edges.
They're not sharp. They're not sharp.
Yeah, but they're sharp in like the stylish.
Oh, got you.
So I know that's maybe a little too old.
Yeah, just too over my head. Yeah. I don't get it. I don't understand anything you're saying.
It's like Jay-Z. Have you heard of him?
Yeah.
Sharp.
He's a sharp good friend of Kanye West.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the Yeezus.
The Yeezus indeed. You made an album with him, I think, maybe? Watch the Throne? Okay, whatever.
Watch the Throne, probably.
Yeah, he did.
Sorry, Barrett tweeted out that I was too afraid to yell, I love Barrett because I'm afraid of the truth. So
that's true.
Too many people are watching this live. I didn't expect anyone to watch this live.
Me neither.
So here we
I'm chill with it, though. I'm good with it.
I'm chill with it. We're not
You're asking me if I was going to be nervous.
Maybe if people have questions at the end, maybe we can read their tweets.
Maybe. If I allow it.
If you allow it. This is your show.
This is my show. I own the podcast now.
Yeah, it was loud, not too loud.
Okay.
I could still talk to people.
That's good. That's all that matters.
A lot of good people, man. Max Scoville gives really good hugs.
He's tall.
He's very tall. He's like embracing you.
Yeah. He does give it. Oh yeah, I did hug him. Yeah. I think
in New York?
No, IGN. I went to IGN.
That's right.
Yeah. Nice boys. Brian and Max. Okay. Sunday, right? You were there? Were you there?
Exhausted. You were there?
Yeah.
Hungover
and exhausted. Yeah. I saw those snaps.
Yeah.
You just look dead. Like absolutely. Like you were dying. I was like, holy shit.
I went to go so my friend Amanda from Lipstick Nerds. She was like wandering around. I went to go see her, and she's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, I just look tired, right? I was fine. Like I felt. After my headache went away, I felt fine. And like we were just hanging out, and then she's like, "Let's take a selfie together." And she's like, "God, you look so sad." I'm like, my eyes are just like drowning to the floor because they want to sleep, want to hit the floor so they can go to nappy time. Yeah, I saw a couple of last minute things on Sunday, but that was really all I did, and some writing, of course.
How was Outlast 2?
The last 2 things I saw? Outlast.
You said you saw Outlast 2.
Let me tell you about Outlast 2.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about Outlast 2.
I don't want to put anybody on blast.
Ooh.
But I'm gonna tell you this scenario in which I played Outlast 2, and you tell me if it sounds a little. I don't want to use the word gross, but I do.
Okay.
Gross to you. And I get it. So. Outlast 2, they got this booth in the middle of the showroom floor, kind of near the indie stuff. It's like a little house built in the showroom floor. And they go in, and there's like 3 small rooms with like blackout curtains in there, and there's noise canceling headphones, there's noise canceling on the booth. So it's they're basically separating you from the loud noise outside, so that you can actually play Outlast and like have a scary experience.
Get
spooked.
Yeah.
It's a spooky game with the spooky kids. And here's the thing: I make my appointment on Saturday to come see it on Sunday. I get checked in. I get in there. He brings me in. And so he opens the curtain. It's a keyboard and mouse with a Xbox 360 controller playing it. So whatever you prefer, and a PC. He's like, it's a short demo. Go ahead and play it. And I look up, and there's like a red light looking at me, and the guy's about to leave, and I look back. I'm like, am I being recorded? And he's like, yeah.
No.
And then he just leaves. I'm like,
you're gonna be one of these trailers.
Well, no, I'm not, because I only wore one headphone the whole time because I didn't want to get too freaked out.
Gotcha.
Because I didn't want to give them this.
Yeah.
I didn't sign any consent form. They don't know who I am.
Yeah.
They didn't check me in or whatever, take down my contact information to ask at some point in the future if they can use my likeness or my actual body in this footage that they're going to cut together of people freaking out playing this game. That's gross, right?
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, I know, it comes from a good place. They're just excited about it. But if you are going to use me to promote your game, that's fine, as long as I give you consent to do that.
Yeah. Give you a form to fill out.
Because you are making revenue off of those advertisements, and you're promoting a product, and you're using me as a person to do so, and I just, it rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah.
Which is sad, because I kind of went in with a chip on my shoulder. But Outlast 2 seemed pretty cool.
Did you play Outlast 1?
I did. I played it with my 2 best friends, kind of as a group thing.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah, it's a fun way to play that game. So the second one, you're chasing this lead on a girl, pregnant woman disappeared on the side of the road somewhere. Already sounds like a bad idea. So it's you as this nerdy guy with glasses. I presume he's nerdy because he can't run very well, as I found out in the demo. As a nerdy guy with glasses and a girl, a female. I haven't written anything about Alice too, so I figure I'll talk about it here. And you go and car crash. Of course, everything has to go wrong. It's all game. And you wake up, you got a camera for some reason, I don't know. you reach out and pick it. There's a lot of falling over and your glasses falling off, and you reaching out.
Oh, okay.
Glasses on. I'm like, all right, chill.
We get it. You have glasses.
you're a nerd, I guess. Is this what this is supposed to be?
Does the screen go all foggy when his glasses fall off?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So you got the camera. It's got the infrared thing. A little bit more light this time, I would say. And you're walking through down this path of all these houses, these little shack houses, very creepy, upside down crosses, a lot of ritualistic shit, maybe some goat's blood rubbed on houses. You see creepy dudes in the woods looking at you, breathing heavily, and then disappearing back into the woods, and you're just hello? And you're going around, just whatever, looking at stuff, and doors are opening and closing, and it's creepy. And then you go down through stuff. It's weird. I don't remember too clearly. It was very pretty. The lighting was very good when it started. It was kind of dusk, I guess, just after dusk. So the little bit of sun on the horizon left. And you're going through, and then you go through this down into this basement after you hear this screaming old guy or whatever, and then no, that happened later. And then you go down, you go into this room that's a well, and it's just full of corpses. You go across that, and then there's a actual a water well, and I'm all right, whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen now. So you lean over into the well, and a giant tongue shoots up and grabs you around the neck and pulls you into the well, and it's the well then starts contracting, and then when the light comes back, it looks like a throat that's closing in on you and contracting, and then it goes black. and then you lift up your camera again, and then you're in like a ventilation shaft.
Huh.
You go through that for a little bit, and then like the ventilation shaft breaks down and falls in. And you crawl out, and then you're in like an elementary school classroom.
Huh.
I'm like, oh man, what is happening? So I'm like way into it because I love the surrealist horror.
Yeah.
Because especially because Outlast 1 didn't really play around with that. No. It was pretty straight laced. There was like a monster, and then at the end there was an actual monster.
Yeah.
But there wasn't a lot of that until the end. So like you're going through this creepy ass school, like elementary school, and it's pitch black. I'm like, man, schools are super scary at night. And then like doors, like locker doors, start opening and closing, slamming all around, and then it's just like a jump scare, like some monster comes and grabs you and like throws you. And then you go through a door and like look around a hallway, and there's just a girl. Well, like a girl runs past the hall, and then you look, and then she's like hanging from a noose. I'm like, oh, this is good. Wow. This is a great situation. I walk up to her, and then like a tongue wraps around her whole body. And
a lot of tongues.
A lot of tongues.
Yeah.
And pulls her into like this shadowy like wetness in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
And then another thing like attacks you and grabs you and throws you, and then like when you're like moving, you like move into like a person, right? And then you're back in the shack in like the village from the beginning, and like a guy grabs you and throws you down these stairs, and he starts chasing after you and screaming at you, and he's like a lunatic. And then you're just running through like cornfields. And you, like run out the house, run through cornfields, like back through the village. People with flashlights chasing after you. At some point, like somebody caught up to me and started hitting me. But because I was having trouble climbing over a fence or whatever. Climb over a fence, you slide down a slope, and then a woman with a pickaxe comes and smashes your penis in and rips it off. It's terrible. And then it ends.
Wow, that's a good ending.
Yeah, it ends with her like slashing it into you, and then you look down at your crotch, and it's just this pickaxe in you, and then she like pulls it out. I'm like, oh no. Yeah.
No wonder those cameras are on. They want to get your reaction for that.
Yeah, I was just, this was my reaction. Like, one headphone off. I was like, ugh. So if they want to use that,
yeah, right in the trailer.
I guess they should have asked for my consent.
That sounds good though.
It felt kind of cheesy, like
Yeah, of course.
I bet it would have been a lot more spooky if I wasn't on a very crowded convention floor and I wasn't like thinking about that the whole time.
Being recorded.
How they were filming me and didn't ask me if they could do that. But
Yeah. Outlast has those good trailers though. I mean, those good demos rather.
Yeah, it felt like there was a lot more world building in this, which is good. A lot more environmental stuff. The other thing I played outside of my game show was I Am Setsuna.
What's that?
It was announced at the very, very boring Square Enix press conference. We actually talked about this on Bonus Points post show. Basically, the Tokyo RPG Factory is like a internally formed studio within Square Enix of external developers. And they were like, hey, we're going to make a game that's kind of like Chrono Trigger.
Okay.
And they totally did that. And it's coming out July 19th, I believe. And no one's talking about it. And it's a real shame because this game looks great. The music is incredible. And it plays and looks kind of like Chrono Trigger.
That's good. Do you like it? You had a fun time?
I really, really liked it. Like, this could be like a total sleeper hit. Like, they even have like techs, like TECHS, which like attack was like what you would call a special attack in Chrono Trigger.
Oh, okay.
And then you could do a special attack with another of your party members, and it would call a combo. And you can also do just an X slash. You could just do an X slash. So seems all right. The music though, especially, was beautiful.
Banging.
It was beautiful. A lot of piano, a lot of simple, like very echoey piano. Totally the way to my heart. I wrote a preview. It's gonna have like some inserts of the music in it.
That's cool.
So, yeah, really cool. Left a really good impression. That game is legit. And the only other thing I guess I want to talk about is my favorite game that I played. A game called Flint Hook.
Is this the third one with the grappling hook?
This is the one with the grappling hook. As you might have taken from Hook, I finished writing that preview today. Hopefully, I'll get that up today. Just like out of nowhere, right? This is the first time they ever showed this game to anyone. And like so much so, like they haven't even announced a platform or whoever they're gonna decide to end up with yet. I played it on a DualShock 4, but like I don't think that's indicative. Like, I would want to say like I would bet that they would lean to Sony, but I would say that just about everyone right now. It was just a beautiful looking game, right? Just the pixel art in this reminded me of Cave Story Plus, like that specific kind of recreation of that original Cave Story stuff, the clouds and stuff. You play as like a little pirate dude, and you're going through. I don't know if they were procedurally generated or not, but you're going through pirate ships, and it's a Metroidvania. But like the hook of it, forgive me, is that you have like a hook that you can throw almost any time to like these kind of like hook things implanted in the environment, like all over the place. You just swing to them, like so you can like jettison to yourself to these hooks and like keep going. You have a little gun, and you can just like hold down, I think, one of the triggers to go into bullet time, so you can swing to something, slow down, and like just shoot down at enemies, which is what I did a lot of. Very fast paced. The shooting almost had like a Contra-esque feel to it. It was gorgeous. It moved so quickly, but like it felt so good. And like the idea of like getting newer abilities and stuff in that kind of game, it just seemed great. And like you're going through like little ghost robot pirate ships, and like you're just jumping in and out of them. Like giant anchor would fall in, you would jump on the anchor, and the anchor would lift you up, and then like you would go to a different ship and stuff. It was awesome. It was so awesome.
It looks great.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I'll have a preview up of that soon.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I really liked it. That was probably my favorite thing I saw while I was there, and it was really cool.
Game of the show. That's very exciting. Anything else?
I mean, there's a few other things, but Mages of Australia I mentioned earlier. It's cool. I'll probably write something about it. I'm looking through my notes here. Hob is cool. Talked about that. Outlast 2. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Do you have any other questions?
No, I don't think so. Hopefully I did a decent job.
I think you did great.
I did fine. I'm trying to think of anything.
Do you have anything, like any questions about like the PAX experience as a whole?
Well, I mean, yeah, I haven't been to PAX ever, but I mean, was it? It clearly was crowded. I mean, right?
Yeah.
This year?
Crazy crowded.
Crazy crowded. Okay.
Like the thing is, some people like, I'm very privileged, right? I have a press badge. I have a lot of privilege going to these shows. I've not gone to a PAX as just like a consumer before, and I don't think like I ever would, because like the PAX line thing is so like rough. Like there's a line out the door. Like you have to wait. Like if you get there at like 10, right? The show floor opens at 10. You're probably gonna be waiting in the line that they trickle into the show floor until like 12:30.
Jeez.
Like my friend Fred Earhart of Fantastic Neighborhood, he was waiting in line that went all the way like a mile away from the convention center.
Ugh.
And that's like the PAX line to get onto the showroom floor. Like that's ridiculous. And like panel lines, like the Markiplier panel, for example, filled up in 5 minutes. The line 2 hours before the panel started filled up in 5 minutes less. Probably. Cards Against Humanity, same thing. Giant Bomb, same thing. So if you're not waiting for the line to the panel, then like you won't even get to see panels either. Like, I know there's no real easy way to do something like that, and that's not something I can skip to the head of a line for. But like, I just feel like there needs to be a better solution. It doesn't seem like a very consumer-friendly show in a lot of weird ways. Sure, there's a ton of stuff to do outside of that. Like there are game rooms, there are tournaments. You could just go to the tabletop end of the convention floor where like people just hang out playing D&D and tabletop games, or the PC room where people are just like checking into these PCs and playing PC games like LAN locally. You can do stuff like that, but like if you want to go see a game, it's gonna be like 3 hours, and like let's say you want to see that, but you also want to go to a panel, so you have to wait like another 3 hours before that panel to go see that, and maybe you can't do both, and then you end up just doing one thing in a day, and like that sucks.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Some aspects of it are good. Some of it are rough. PAX East is still my favorite convention, hands down though.
Really?
Love how they lay out the showroom floor. Just love it. Super easy around. 2 sky bridges make it super easy to jump back and forth. The press room's easy to find. It all makes sense. I'm very familiar with it. This was my 4th PAX East, so.
Wow.
5th PAX total.
Which way?
I went to PAX Prime in
gotcha.
2012, and they were renaming PAX Prime to PAX West also.
I was 13 when you went there. I just want to make you feel old.
I was 19.
Okay. So you are old.
Yeah, I mean, there's 6 years between us, Roger.
Oh, wow.
Knew that.
I don't know math, so that's my advantage.
Yeah, the maths.
I don't know the maths. Did he say that?
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot of things. No, yeah.
British people say maths for some reason.
Say weird things.
Yeah, like aluminium. The fuck is up with that?
Controversy.
Calor. Yeah, I mean, like, is there anything about PAX that you would want to know?
Nah.
It's cool. I think you would like PAX East.
Yeah, I probably would. But I would have to get a media thing. That's what I would want to do. I don't know if I would.
You could totally get one of those
content creators.
Yeah.
I gotta see.
No one knew about that until when they handed you out. Like they marked you as that. I guess without telling you. I mean, they didn't tell me that I was marked as media or I was marked as content creator. So yeah, they look the same. Just one says con, one says med. People kept mistaking it for medical badges. Don't know why.
Well, I mean, it's MED.
Yeah, it's EXP and MED badges can go in through like a faster checkpoint.
Gotcha.
To get into the building. And like, yeah, oh, you have a medical badge? I'm like, sure. Whatever you want to call it, man. I got a lot of business cards. These are the stack of business cards that I got. So yeah.
Read out phone numbers right now.
All right. Let's talk about my friend Francesca was there showing a game. That was really cool. It's like I've known her for a couple of years now. She's like an indie game developer. She's cool. She was showing 2 games actually. She made 2 alphas that she was showing off. So it was cool. Like I'm at that point where it's been long enough, and like I know enough people that like I know people that have like those like I talked about the indie mini booth like one TV screen off in a corner somewhere. Somebody's showing a couple games, and maybe somebody will come up and talk to the person that what made this whole thing. Like the cool thing about PAX is like I can go to the Square Enix booth. I went to the Square Enix booth. I'm like, hey, after I played I Am Setsuna, which they had to kick me off early because they had to keep the line moving. I was like, hey, is there anyone here like that I can talk to about this game? Like, a press contact, someone I can email after the show about maybe getting code for this. They're like, yeah, sorry, we don't have anyone here for that because it was like the last minute addition in our roster. Thank you. And I go over to like SwitchHook, and it's 3 dudes, and this is the 3 dudes what made this whole game. It's just the whole team is right there, and like they're watching people play their game, and their faces are lighting up, and it's like they're experiencing this thing where like somebody's playing their game for the first time, and like that's amazing for them, and like they're also terrified because obviously you'd be terrified. This thing that you've looked at, like, is this even good anymore? And it's like it's totally opposite ends of the spectrum, but you can have that on the same floor, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
special.
PAX East is awesome. Do you want to see if there are any questions?
Yeah, let's see.
People tweeting people are just tweeting partially nude pictures of me.
Yeah, and I retweeted one of them. Got to be honest with you. So,
I mean,
all my followers.
A lot of people tweeted me about Clash of Clans from last week's show. I just want to say I'm sorry.
What'd you say? I don't listen to your podcast. Got to be honest with you.
I listen to your podcast now.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said that.
You gotta, Roger. Can we talk about getting your situation on iTunes?
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Let's talk about it. What do you want to talk about it?
Get it on iTunes, man.
You gotta spend money.
I mean, like, it's not that much. I can show you some great options.
Okay, show me great options, and if it's affordable, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
I'll do it.
Is $5 a month affordable?
I can buy a foot-long sandwich with that.
Oh, 1 foot long from fucking Subway.
Yeah, buddy.
I mean, you could do a lot of things, I guess. Yeah, literally, there's nothing productive in my DMs or on my mentions right now.
Well, both.
So yeah, I mean, it's just Roger sending me a whole bunch of like, I'm sorry. I know you watch bonus points now, so I promise I'll stop talking shit.
Yeah, well, that's not gonna stop. Gotta be honest here. I'm not gonna change myself for you.
I would never ask you to change for me. Right?
Yeah, I'm not changing for anyone.
Looks like we don't have any questions. So
yeah, no one loves us.
It's okay. They just wanted to tweet their own self-fulfilling prophecies at us.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's end it. Do you want me to end it? Do you want to end it?
Well, I'm the host of this goddamn thing, so I'm ending it. Okay. This has been Irrational Podcast.
PAX East edition.
PAX East edition.
PAXcast.
2016. What is this, an episode number, or is it just?
I was told that it is not an episode number.
Okay, so I'm not good enough for an episode number. Makes sense.
I wanted this to be an episode, like a numbered episode, but
was it Nabishin?
It was Nabishin. But he said it doesn't make sense if it's just you and me.
Yeah, it's fair enough. It's fair enough.
Not like 2 hosts. I mean, whatever.
Whatever.
Fucking Nabishin gets his way. Even though he's gonna miss his 3rd show in a week this weekend.
Ooh.
Technically 4th if you include this one, but I guess we can't because it's not a fucking number.
Doesn't count. I guess I don't count. This has been April 26, 2016 episode. Yeah.
Where can people find you?
Oh, rajformer.com. Roger Picorni. That's my name. YouTube.com/RajFormer. All that jazz. ROG Former. It's like a mix between Transformer and Roger. You take out the trans and you put Raj.
I've been good lately. Okay?
No, I know you are. I'm not throwing shade. I'm just saying that in general because people don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was getting a job thing, and then I was like Raj Former, and he was like spelling it like 15 different ways, and I was like, nope, let me type it in.
RODGE Former. I just heads up, Alfighter27 on Twitter. There's no story behind that. It's just stupid. And IrrationalPod.com. There's gonna be tons of PAX stuff this weekend or this week through this weekend. Hopefully, I'll get everything up. As a heads up, I might be writing news stories on IrrationalPod.com for reasons, and on my blog. So if you see them posted, it might be a temporary thing, might not be. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But so that just keep in mind there might be more posts on the site, but that doesn't mean anything scary's happening. Don't worry. We're not necessarily going to report on everything, but
why
see.
not?
Because the writing team is all of me currently, and Tony when he wants to be. So
just report on everything.
Report on everything.
You got to do
yourself.
It by yourself.
By yourself. All right. 7,000 words a day. All news. IrrationalPax.com. More PAX stuff. I hope you like this. I think this was a fun little experiment to do.
What's that Chinese character behind you say?
It says victory.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
I
rough.
got it as inspiration for Dark Souls, which says you defeated when you beat a monster. So
that's smart.
Yeah, fucking smart.
Smart boy.
Roger, you host a podcast called Bonus Points. It's awesome. People should listen to it. You also host a bunch of really cool shows that I do watch. Did
you watch my Charlie the Chocolate Factory trailer?
I saw that. I'm like, what the hell is this? Dude, I haven't watched it.
It's my friend and I, it was 3 a.m. We're sitting and we're like, yo, let's watch Charlie the Chocolate Factory. And we watched the entire thing. We're like, this is a surrealist horror film. So I edited a trailer to look like a surrealist horror film. Yep. And that's what that is.
Noteworthy is one of my favorite shows on YouTube. You should watch that. Roger hosts that. It's awesome.
It's going to be a lot better soon.
I'm excited. Thank you so much for doing this, Roger.
Anytime, buddy. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely.
You're the best.
Do you know how I end a show?
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay, I'll take over from here.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Roger, for joining me. I've been your host, Alex O'Neill.
Oh, yeah.
I guess I haven't been your host. I've been your interviewee, Alex O'Neill. But I want you all to play your games, stay rational. We will talk to you all next week.